like a use case from one of your workplaces that you helped the company innovate successfully with the research?
Okay, this is a story from WeWork. I really like it because of its I don't know, flair, let's call it. So I was asked. I was head of user experience there, including that included research. I was asked to help improve sales, which is not a very common request from the user experience group.
But a very important request.
Extremely important. Long story short, we did a lot of research to understand the sales process from the perspective of people who are trying to buy from WeWork. Not necessarily from the perspective of what WeWork does, what our salespeople do, and so on, but from the perspective of people who are considering WeWork as a service and product. We bumped into, we did a lot and we tracked a lot of data, but we bumped into several numbers that we were very curious about. So we saw at the time, today it's different. At the time, the only way for you to buy from WeWork was to schedule a tour, a physical tour in the building. Somebody would show you around, 10 minutes, 45 minutes, really depending on what you're interested in and the patience of the person who's showing you around and how many tours they have for that day. And then in the end, they give you a contract. They say, you have this price for 24 hours. You need to decide and send you away. And usually people book those tours the day before or maximum 2 days before the actual tour. The number we bumped into, the first number we bumped into was that about 70% of people who booked tours didn't show up for the tour.
That's a lot.
Yes. And then as a part of the research, we came back to not all of them, but some of these people and asked them, what happened? Anything we can learn about what happened? Why didn't you show up for the tour you booked yesterday?
Yeah.
And surprisingly, again, 70%, just a coincidence that it's the same number, but 70% of the reasons why people never showed up, the answer just amazed us. They couldn't find the entrance to the building.
Really?
Yeah. It sounds funny, but there are multiple reasons for that. First of all,
actually, I've been to WeWork Tel Aviv like 2 months ago, and they're right. It's really hard to find it in Tel Aviv.
It's not only about WeWork. I mean, buildings, I learned, are complicated. Sometimes the entrance is not very obvious. In some cases, most cases, WeWork did not own the buildings. So the landlord sometimes didn't allow WeWork to put a sign, because a sign would help. If there's a big sign, WeWork above the door, that helps.
Yeah.
But in many cases, the landlords did not allow it. So it was completely not WeWork's fault. And sometimes it was WeWork's fault, because sometimes
it reminds me of the movie in Israel, like a big sign, see, it's an Israeli movie, but it reminds me of that.
Yeah, but it's complicated. In any case, there are multiple reasons why people couldn't find the entrance to the building. So we thought a little bit about that and asked ourselves, and this is kind of where, again, I think innovation is a funny word, but let's say where innovation happened. We thought, what would be something that can solve that? So we had an idea to ask our people in the buildings, WeWork community teams, we call them, to shoot a 5-second video of a WeWork employee with a WeWork t-shirt waving from the entrance to the building, wide enough so they can see, the red door and the tree, so people can recognize where the entrance is from. And then turn it into a GIF, and then embed that in a reminder email sent to the person who booked the tour an hour before the tour. We tried it in several buildings. We did like an A/B test. Divided half the tours in half, and then said, these tours continue to do whatever you did before. Half the tours, try and send that email with this video embedded. That significantly, let's be gentle, significantly improved the numbers and sales. So WeWork decided to implement that worldwide. And then the WeWork teams are really creative with the videos. We can do a lot in 5 seconds. I actually we'll put a link to that story. We have a story about all of that, including some examples of these videos.
That's a funny story for sure. It's funny to think that was the reason.
Yes, really funny. It actually happened